All right, start things off. All right, welcome back. I'm Elijah Morales. This is Rabah Hudus, and we're going to be your host for third period Scholar Talks.
Hi, welcome to Scholar Talks at Cypress High School. My name is Mrs. Freed and I'm the human anatomy teacher here. It's my idea to start these Scholar Talks here at Cypress High School last year, and we are now in our second year of doing it. What we've done over the last 2 weeks is I've asked all the students to kind of answer this driving question. It involves looking at science in the next 30 years. The students could choose any topic that they wanted to. They just had to look at it in the scope of a 30-year time period, and it had to be science related. Over the 2 weeks, the students were giving a lot of time, 3 days in class, to do research on their topic of interest. They answered several questions on different worksheets to help guide their interest to figure out what they wanted to do their talk on. And then we started in baby steps, doing a 1-minute presentation with their table groups where they kind of got to vent their ideas and get some critical friends feedback from the students sitting at their table groups. Then they went on to do a little bit more research, and they came up with a now 2.5-minute presentation, which they did a gallery walk around my class. We had 3 or 4 students listening to every time they presented, and over that 3.5 minutes, they were given a score out of 5. Once the students were done with their presentation, the other students rotated around, and another speech was given by the original presenter. This was called our gallery walk. After that, we're going to go ahead and pick our top 15 students. They'll practice over the next couple weeks, and then we've gotten to the point where they're now doing their Scholar Talks, which you are seeing today. Hopefully you enjoy yourselves. Thanks for watching.
We're going to start things off with Millie No, who is tipping into climate change.
As scary as it sounds, temperatures are increasing, ice caps are melting, ocean levels are rising, all because of climate change. Hello, my name is Millie Ngo, and today I will be discussing about how our world is tipping into climatic catastrophe. Climate change, also known as global warming, is a pressing issue that needs to be addressed now. A dead planet will surely follow as an effect, and it will be unavoidable without immediate action. There is no debate as to whether climate change is real, as there is plenty of evidence. In a global report, temperatures have increased above the 1.5 degrees Celsius target and is slowly increasing towards 3.2 in the next 100 years. There is evidence of warming oceans, and this is an issue for aquatic ecosystems and marine life. In the Arctic and Antarctic, ice sheets are shrinking, glaciers are receding, and this all contributes to the rising of the ocean sea level. In a study done by NASA, they say that the sun plays little in causing global warming and suggest that greenhouse gas effect to be the stem cause. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, which can be found in the atmosphere, absorb and emit radiant energy of the sun as heat, which is the cause of the temperature rising. As a result of society's industrializing, greenhouse gases are on the rise. Rising temperatures have become a bigger issue since the Industrial Revolution, which resulted in more pollution from factories through gas emissions and smog. The burning of fossil fuels, the increased number of factories, the use of coal-powered machines, and carbon pollution created through transportation vehicles have all contributed to the growing amount of greenhouse gases trapped in our atmosphere. The effect of climate change will be more spastic weather, which will in turn affect agriculture. This increase in temperature will cause turbulent and violent weather in the forms of hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis, thunderstorms, and others. These extreme natural disasters will force governments to take out billions of dollars each year in order to repair the damages caused from these events. Increasing climate change will result in heavier rain seasons and longer dry seasons. Climatic fluctuations causes floods that can devastate fields of crops, harm livestock, quicken soil erosion, and pollute the water, which all will affect our agriculture. It will also cause droughts that can be just as devastating because of the strain put on farmers, their crops, and livestock. This can also result in an increase in pests and pathogens that thrive in warmer climate and can cause increased sickness and ruin agriculture as well. Some crops that require a particular climate and soil to thrive and grow could be disappearing, and the planet could be facing the extinction of key crops such as potatoes, corns, and wheat, which is the cornerstone of our diet. Overall, there are some solutions being offered by leading scientists to prevent climate change and its effects. A greater investment in research dedicated to finding alternative energy sources that do not pollute as much is one good start. In addition, the expansion of conservation programs to protect the Earth's already dwindling forests and ecosystems could also drastically reduce climate change. Stronger safety nets also need to be put in place in order to attain net zero emissions. We need to completely eliminate carbon emissions with the replacement of consuming energy sources with renewable energy productions instead. We can change transportation from running on fossil fuels to a more sustainable energy source, which would greatly reduce carbon gas emissions and conserve natural resources. Investing in research for alternative clean energy sources like nuclear power, solar power, wind power, or water power could be a drastic change for our society. It will bring us one step closer to net zero emissions. Though these solutions are very difficult to do, it is necessary for the survival of Earth and the human race. The world is slowly but surely tipping into climatic catastrophe. An issue as big as global warming needs to be aggressively rectified with the ultimate goal of being net zero gas emissions. Thank you.
Alright, so right now what we're doing in class is we're basically researching and fine-tuning our research to see what we want into our presentations and what we don't want. So we want to have all the details about what we're talking about. We want to make sure we're educated, and we want to make sure that our presentations are going to go smoothly and we know what we're talking about. So basically we're going to use our Chromebooks to obviously find information. It makes it a lot faster, a lot easier. We can sift through the information rather quickly instead of looking through a book. We can also take all the information that we found and directly put it into a Google Doc and organize our thoughts a lot better. So it's individual because it's our own information that we want to gather. It's about something that we're passionate about. So I'm passionate, I'm doing it about the workplace and about how exercise and the workplace fit hand in hand. So basically it's all about what you want to do and how you want to do it.
Thank you, Millie, for teaching us information about climate change.
Up next is Bao Bowie with his presentation titled To Eat or Not to Eat.
Okay. Hey guys, so as you can see, my presentation is to eat or not to eat. So image this. So after a half a day of school, you're really tired from all the hard work, right? So you head to the cafeteria because you want to refill your energy, right? So maybe you get a chicken patty, fries, chicken, milk, apples, whatever, right? But then little did you know, you're actually eating one of the leading factors to death in America, obesity. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, 3 out of every 10 students ages 10 to 17 are obese. Could school lunches be a primary contributing reason to this epidemic? Can the rise of high-fat school lunches be a coincidence? I think not. Our school lunches have been a dilemma in our country for many years and even continues today. To make a quick point, let's look at pizza. Pizza in and of itself is not one of the most healthiest of food items, yet the Federal Agriculture actually declared pizza to be a vegetable. Apparently, tomato sauce qualifies to be a vegetable, but what's funny is that tomato isn't even a vegetable, it's a fruit, so it doesn't add up. The pizza in our school falls in the dubious category and compares even poorly compared to the greasy fair slice served at Little Caesar pizza chain. Decent pizza, but not known for its nutritional values. Analysis by MyFitnessPal.com states that school pizza contains 291 calories, while Little Caesar pizza contains 250. Houston, you know we have a problem when junk pizza is healthier than what our school serves us. When compared to the school lunches served by other countries, the U.S. looks even worse by comparison. Many international schools have options like pork with rice or mixed veggies and black beans, while U.S. kids are dining in food that are deep fried in oil and swimming in melted cheese. If we want a future for our generation, we have to end this problem of we have to end the problem of school lunches, or else there won't be a future generation. So let's delve more deeply into reasons why school lunches are so unhealthy. You see, school lunches are built on a shaken foundation of farm-grown ingredients, predominantly of cheese and corn. Already, cheese is already not healthy since it's just fat skimmed off milk, and corn's not much better as it is converted to high fructose corn syrup, and one of the two pillars of school lunches. Together, these two food items go by a rather innocuous sounding name: agriculture societies. And this is when farmers are actually paid to grow these crops. But in reality, they are anything but innocent, for together they are stealing many of the youth's vitality, health, and setting them on the perilous road of lifetime obesity and diseases that follow, like diabetes. Many of you guys are probably wondering why there's an obesity epidemic among us. Well, I humbly suggest that the latest evidence suggests the real culprit is school lunches. School lunches are not just affecting the student's appetite, but they're also affecting the mental sharpness and physical behavior in class. Gabe Doveridge, a professor at Campbell University, states that the main reason why school lunches are so unhealthy is because they are chronically deficient in zinc, B vitamins, omega-3 fatty acids, and protein. I think at this point we can agree that school lunches are not the best. The school lunches at our school are sadly no exception to this countrywide trend. The cookies at our school are average of 19 grams of sugar, as stated by MyFitnessPal.com. So they could kill you in two ways: one as a projectile, or the other way just by eating it. Either way, you're going to get obesity. Anyway, so who would like to hear how students took school lunches to their own hands? Because like at Roosevelt High School in Chicago in 2015, the students there began a boycott because they were tired of being served the disease-inducing lunches that were killing them. The students banded together and forced Amaroq, the food distributor and supplier of the school lunches, to supply students with more nutritious school lunches instead of the usual high-fatty sugar suspects, hamburgers, chicken patties, and pizza. The whole school lunch paradigm began to shift quickly when 80% of the student body started participating in the boycott. And when it caught the eye of many Amaroq officials, tens and thousands of granola bars were donated to 1,000 of the students at the school. That granola donation turned out to be that granola donation in turn led to a meeting between students, officials at Child Protective Services, and Amaroq. Victory was at hand. One small step for students, one giant leap for student health. Our students need more healthier food items because we are the future of our cities, our state, our nation. We, the students, demand better foods to be served at our schools. While our government is serving us will poison the future of our generation. Our students are the future of our nation. And today, have we forgotten about the 3 out of every 10 students are obese? Consider this, that 30% could be your child, my child, your neighbor, your friend. Will we lead them out to suffer with them being conscious about the weight? And didn't our founding fathers once start this nation with the belief of being united? But are we today with the youth's health? This does not justify the fact that there is a child at risk being obese that you can save by being part of the student voice. Let us extend our helping hands and let us act together now, helping that 30% the suffering, 30% the help, helping the 30% the suffering, 30% the needing, the 30% overlook. Let us get this word out, and if you guys will want to join me, together we stand. Because when one voice speaks, it can be easily ignored, even if it's speaking in a multitude. But if it's 2 voices, 3 voices, 4 voices, or even the whole school, the voices, they echo in unison. From one lonely voice, easy to cast aside, to a strong, proud voice, full of stride, that cannot be ignored. No matter how hard you try, the voices will be heard. So will you stand with us or step aside, because we won't be denied. In our sacred quest, healthy school lunches we shall provide. Thank you.
So Critical Friends is something we do in anatomy where we share our research about our topics, and it allows us to get feedback from our table mates. And
Critical Friends is something we do in order to basically just better our presentations down the road. It's kind of a proprietary step to where we just want to prepare, we want to make each other better. It's kind of like peer reviewing in English when you give somebody your essay and they read through it.
It allows us to make our presentations better for later down the road.
Up next, we have Autumn Levesque with the science behind abortion.
Hi, my name is Autumn Levesque, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the science behind abortion. So first off, can I get a show of hands? How many of you would say that abortion is a complicated topic? Okay, so almost all of you. So I'm going to start and end my presentation by asking you the same question. What really is abortion? Behind the pro-choice and pro-life debate, behind what we call reproductive rights, the woman's choice, and empowerment of females. Well, have you ever wondered what really goes on during an abortion and who is it hurting? There are over 55 million abortions performed every year worldwide. That means that there's 1 to 2 abortions every second as we speak. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines abortion as the termination of a pregnancy after, accompanied by, resulting in, or followed by the death of an embryo or fetus. My goal today is not to offend anyone on their past decisions regarding this topic or on their position, but simply to just provide the truth behind abortion using science and facts. So when does life begin? Many people say that life begins at birth or when the baby is delivered, but this is not true, and science is there to prove it. At conception, the male sperm implants in the female egg, and the 2 nuclei, which each have 23 chromosomes, join to create a zygote, and this has 46 chromosomes added together. The zygote has its own unique genetic code, meaning hair color, gender, eye color, height. Every characteristic of that person is determined at conception, and this is when human life begins. This is when the zygote and that person is a distinct human being and is set apart from its parents. Is the unborn a clump of cells or is it a human being? So I'm going to walk you through fetal development of all 3 trimesters of the pregnancy and the method of an abortion in description. So the first trimester is weeks 1 through 12. As we can see up here on the screen, fetus at 12 weeks, the second photo. So for the first few weeks, it's just rapid proliferation, meaning really fast growth of cells and tissues. And there is a heartbeat at only 18 days, and the baby is pumping his own blood at this point. He is forming limbs, a head, a face, brain, and nose and lips, and fingernails, as we can see. And the most thing that you can see is that he has little toes and little fingers. He is about 2.5 inches long and about 1/2 ounce in weight. And the method of an abortion is either 2 ways, a medical abortion or a surgical abortion. Through medical, the woman takes an abortion pill that poisons the baby and stops his heart. He is then disposed of in a bin or flushed down the toilet in most cases. Through a surgical abortion, there's a suction or vacuum aspirator that removes the baby, each limb 1 by 1, and the baby feels pain. The second trimester is weeks 13 through 26. The baby can hear and breathe. His eyes and limbs move. He swims, turns, and somersaults in the womb. His lungs are developing and his nervous system is continuing to mature. We can see around week 14 or so, or 16. And he sucks his thumb. He regularly sleeps and wakes. He detects and responds to his mother's voice. He's about 9 inches long and 2 pounds in weight. The method of an abortion is through what we call dilation and evacuation. Large forceps with sharp teeth, as shown in that picture, detach each body part 1 by 1. And the baby's bones are getting hard and he's getting big, so it has to be taken out 1 by 1. And the baby's vocal cords work, so he can cry during this. The third trimester, finally, is weeks 27 through 40, or the end of the pregnancy. The baby kicks and stretches, his eyes open wide, and he can detect light. His bones are hardening, but they're still very brittle. His skin is pink and smooth, as we can see around week 28 to 32, and so on. So he's about 18 to 20 inches long and about 7 pounds in weight. The method is the most grotesque of them all, and we call it dilation and extraction. The baby is rotated and used in utero position as if for a breech delivery, but each body piece is pulled out one by one, except for the baby's head, which is then the doctor takes an incision at the base of the skull and uses a suction catheter to pull out the baby's brain. All of the baby's disengaged body parts are then disposed of in a bin. The baby kicks and tries to resist during this process, but he is no match for the abortionist's strength and instruments. About 56 to 79% of babies survive premature birth, meaning most of these babies that were aborted could have survived. So now that you know all this, can you still raise your hand and say that abortion is a complicated topic, or is it more simple than we even thought? Now that I've educated you on the science of fetal development and you have a better understanding on the abortion procedures, I'll ask with the same question I started with. What really is abortion? Thank you.
So hi, my name is Angelina, and I did the gallery walk. It was actually pretty fun. You actually share what you learned to others, and they actually learned something. Like 3 of the other guys in my group, when I was sharing my presentation, they were actually pretty interested in the topic, and they didn't know the facts that I had.
Getting to collaborate with different peers was really cool as well.
So that's why we should start worrying. I'm pretty sure some people believe like genocide is a I don't even want to know about it.
Prepare to make the jump to light speed.
They're getting closer.
Oh yeah? Watch this.
Thank you, Autumn, for going deeper into the argument of abortion.
And now we have Zaina for how technology affects children, or affects childhood.
Hi, my name is Zaina Garaiba, and I'm going to be talking to you about technology's impact on childhood. As a child, I was easily occupied by anything. I didn't need a phone in my hand or a screen in my face in order to keep me busy. However, I also believed in printers that would print what I wanted when I wanted it, and flying cars for the future. The bigger picture is that it seems as if technology is impacting the way that children are growing up, and who knows how far it will get within the next few decades. Now, it wouldn't be fair for me to talk about the topic of technology when I am surrounded by it at all hours of the day. So I made it my goal to only turn on my phone when I believed that it was necessary. Now, what impact does technology play on childhood? Technology is impacting children in the sense that they are always having something to look down at, and that is ruining their social skills and lack of communication between their peers, since it is so easy to do so through a phone. Now, children between the ages of 8 and 10 spend about 7 hours of their day using technology, and teenagers use more than 11 hours of their day on technology. In 2011, 10% of children under the age of 2 have used a mobile device, and in 2017, this number increased up to 38%. Just imagine how high this number is now in 2020. Technology has been advancing and being added as an essential for children. Yes, there are many positive impacts. However, I believe there are many more negative. A positive could be how children have access to the internet and they are being able to understand the world around them better. But when they don't have it, they tend to become obsessed, and they cry and throw tantrums when they don't have their phones. Children are losing their childhood to technology. Instead of going outside, talking to their friends, or spending time with their family, they are inside on their phones, on a TV, or watching TV or on a computer. Childhood is when you go outside to develop relationships and connections with the world. It is to grow as a person with the surroundings that you have and the people that you spend time with. You find who you are through experiences and childhood, but the sad thing is that it is more likely that a preschooler is introduced to an iPad rather than a book. Technology allows children to have the tools they can use in the future, but it promotes certain behaviors. Technology and social media can be a crucial aspect in childhood in the sense that teenagers feel as if it is very necessary to act a certain way that isn't themselves just for other people to see. Research shows how well-being factors such as sleep, body image, anxiety, depression, and more have all been negatively impacted due to social media and technology. Anxiety and depression is actually linked with technology, so it may be very difficult to bring light to these issues when there is a lack of communication. Not only does attention shift from a phone to a tablet to a laptop, however, it also shifts from personal conversations, making it harder for a person to read your emotions. Younger children also have very little experience with face-to-face conversations, and if we continue to allow children to surround themselves by technology, they might start to believe that human interaction isn't so important after all. Now, I once read that it is not what children are tuning into, but what they're pulling away that is making it very difficult for others to understand them, and that makes it a dangerous aspect in child development. Technology can affect a child's social development by robbing them of empathy, compassion, and sensitivity in human relationships. That affects their focus and closeness with their family. But not only are parents affected by these issues, oftentimes children feel the same way. When parents are constantly on their phones, using their phones, they are not ever paying attention to their children. Research suggests that positive parenting is linked with good academic, social, and emotional success in a child. But it is very difficult to achieve that when your parent is occupied by their phones. You often see people pulling out their phones during important moments just to catch the moment and relive it forever on their phone. However, what they're actually doing is just ruining what they have right in front of them. In order to not get to the point where a child is texting you that they need their diapers changed, let's let children enjoy their childhood without technology. To close off, Albert Einstein once said, "It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity." Now let me ask you this. Although technology may help us in the future, is it really worth losing all we have right in front of us? Thank you.
Thank you, Zaina.
Last but not least, we have Audrey Hardy with her talk titled Bright Skin, Bright Future. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Elijah Morales.
I'm Rebel Deuce. It's been an honor hosting for you all.
Hi, so like they said, my name is Audrey Hardy and I'm presenting Bright Skin, Bright Future. So have you ever been getting ready in the morning and as you look close in the mirror, you notice a red bump popped up on your face out of nowhere? Ruins your day, right? And it's always on the day you have an event too. Like if it mattered for your skin to like you, that day you felt like it hated you. Well, you want to feel confident that day, and maybe there's a deeper science behind why our confidence is so dependent upon how we feel on our natural appearance. So as we discuss dermatology, I want to provide you with the true definition, which is the diagnosis and treatment of the diseases of the integumentary system. The integumentary system consists of your hair, skin, and nails. Focusing primarily on the skin, more specifically acne, I began to wonder, is acne a disease? The simple answer is yes. Acne is a long-term medical disease or condition that most teenagers go through because of the hormones we experience in the early stages of our life. However, it is also genetic. Now, if you're thinking, why is she talking about acne? Why is this an issue? I'm sure my skin will get better later anyway. I'm sure it will too, but what if I told you that your acne actually affects your mental health? I kind of touched on it earlier because of the whole confidence thing, but being straightforward, acne affects a lot of teenagers' confidence and causes them to lose their self-esteem. Most teenagers that experience acne also are at very high of a risk for developing depression, social anxiety, and social isolation. So considering that your face is the first thing that people see about you, you can't really hide your acne. But a lot of teenagers intend to hide their acne about how they feel on the inside and how much it's impacting them with their peers and adults and friends around them. So we've all heard the "it's what's on the inside that matters" speech, and I do not want to come across as shallow at all, but the harsh truth is that appearance does matter to many people. As you grow up, you learn to notice what people like and dislike about you. You recognize the compliments and insults, and people talk. Ultimately, that leads to how you feel about yourself, and those thoughts end up leading to how you choose to present yourself. So the teenage years are challenging enough for most of us, even under the best of circumstances, but with a face that you're showing to the world that you aren't as confident with or is filled with all of your insecurities, it makes entering that adult life that much harder to handle. So such a small problem like small bumps or red bumps on our face is affecting our future leaders' confidence during their most important time in their life when they're making their most important decisions. Why isn't there a solution already? Now, you might be thinking there are solutions, Audrey. There are a ton of skincare products out there, but there are problems within all those solutions that we'll be discussing later because they aren't all permanent and they don't guarantee the results that you want. So as Dr. Andrea L. Zanglin, she is the professor of dermatology at Penn State, and she recently reported in the Journal of Medicine for New England Times, and she said, quote, "The psychological effects of acne can be profound, and persons with acne are at risk for substantial negative effects on quality of life." So diving deeper into the science behind acne, acne is a disease in a pilosebaceous unit. So that contains your hair follicle, hair shaft, and the associated sebaceous gland and muscle. So as we experience through all the teenage years, adult hormones start to kick in when we hit puberty, and that gland then activates and starts to produce more and more of this oily substance called sebum. Sebum lubricates the skin, and it is a food source for a bacteria, but that bacteria is called Cutibacterium acne. So that's where it starts to click, because that Cutibacterium acne attracts white blood cells, which then causes dead skin cells to start forming, and that clogs your pores. That ultimately leads to pimples, or what we know as blackheads and whiteheads. So contrary to common belief, acne is not the result from dirt or from dirt surface or not washing your face enough. In fact, washing your face too much can result in higher effects of acne and irritates your skin even further. So obviously washing your face with a simple cleanser, as Dr. Zanglin suggested, Cetaphil rather than soap is more essential, but it should be limited to washing once a day. That is more effective and it is a prevention, but according to Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center, there is no cure for acne. And today's over-the-counter remedies contain some of the same basic ingredients as those on drugstore shelves decades ago. So if you do go to a dermatologist, they might prescribe you with severe treatment. The first choice is usually tetracycline, which is an antibiotic that fights bacteria causing acne. And another is called Accutane, but both of these contain the same basic two ingredients that make up all other skincare products, but these have very severe side effects, which most people aren't a fan of, and you have to continuously treat it for 2 months to finally end up seeing any results at all. Those two basic ingredients that all other skincare products are made up of are salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide, and these are most effective because they help reduce inflammation, they exfoliate dead skin cells, and reduce any excess oil or dirt on your skin. So cleaning your skin, obviously a great thing, but the problem within all these solutions is created through everyone's different skin types. So say you go to visit your dermatologist because you have acne, you want to clear your skin, or maybe it's just bothering you. I assume they prescribe you with a cleanser or gel or medicine, even medication, but it's from their own skincare line. Because of the enormous competition in the dermatology field, that leads you to spend lots and lots of dollars on their line, which gives them money, but you're spending that money on ingredients or on treatments that consist of the same basic two ingredients that I previously informed you of, salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide, that are in every other skincare product that you could find on drugstore shelves, as I previously said. So if you are currently suffering from acne, it is because you have not found your ultimate treatment yet. And that's because there is no treatment that guarantees the results that you want. I hope within the next 30 years, with acne being such a big issue, that science can improve in order to create simpler and more effective treatments that are permanent rather than temporary. In the dermatology field, they can create more skincare products that can help our future generation improve our confidence and increase our self-esteem to help us make better decisions and feel more confident as we enter adult life. The future is clear and bright, as our skin should be. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Freed, and I just wanted to thank a few people for today. First of all my students, so you guys out in the crowd, thank you so much for working so hard on putting all these TED Talks together. As you've been seeing in our commercials per se, they did a lot of work to get up to this point, so the presenters were fantastic. I'd like to thank our choir teacher here at Cypress High School for letting us use the theater, Mr. Parker for helping set up the projector, and most importantly, Mr. Delgado and his class for all the efforts that they put broadcasting and filming this, and a couple teachers, Mr. Batista that was down at the district office for giving me and inspiring me to set up this idea of TED Talks, and then also my husband for supporting me in all my craziness of getting ready for these TED Talks, etc. It is a fun activity, so hopefully you guys enjoyed watching, and hopefully my students enjoyed partaking in this. Did you guys enjoy it? They're forced to say that. Okay, so thank you for tuning in for our 2020 TED Talks / Scholar Talks. I really appreciate your support. Thank you.